It's my honor to present to Senior Medicare Patrol in recognition for your outstanding support and commitment to our Acadiana and Louisiana veterans. We salute you. By sponsoring the Veterans Corner TV initiative, SMP is making a difference in the lives of our veterans and their families. On behalf of Veterans Corner Incorporated, we thank you. September 23rd, 2025, Greg Gagne, founder.
Thank you, Mr. Greg.
On behalf of Veterans Corner, I would like to present to Neurowave Diagnostics in recognition for your outstanding support and commitment to our Acadiana and Louisiana veterans. We salute you. By sponsoring the Veterans Corner TV initiative, Neurowave is making a difference in the lives of our veterans and their families. On behalf of Veterans Corner Incorporated, we thank you. September 23rd, 2025, founder Greg Gagne.
Thank you.
Welcome to Veterans Corner, and it's an honor and a privilege to be a guest in your home today. Today, my friends, veterans are the reason we have freedom in America. Veterans Corner's mission is simple: make veterans first America. And of course, with your support, my friends, we can create meaningful changes in the lives of our veteran heroes by sharing vital information that they may not even be aware of. And of course, we recognize that lack of knowledge and access to trustworthy information can place everyone at a significant disadvantage. But for veterans, that gap is compounded by unique barriers and challenges, and that's on top of the everyday struggles that we all face. And of course, to bridge that gap, Veterans Corner conduct video interviews with national, state, and local leaders, nonprofit organizations, agencies, and businesses. And of course, our goal is to uncover and deliver the resources, insights, and opportunities that empower veterans to thrive and not just survive. And of course, at Veterans Corner, creating change in veterans' lives strengthens the fabric of our communities and make our state a better place for all. And of course, Veterans Corner invites all veterans, neighbors, and friends to partner with Veterans Corner by sharing and spreading the word. And together, we can ensure that those who sacrifice to protect our freedom receive the support, the dignity, and the recognition that they deserve. And now, let's begin our interview. Welcome to Veterans Corner. It's a privilege and an honor to be a guest in your home today. And for our guest today, we have Mr. Caleb Morse. He is the owner of Rustic Renegade, and he's been in business for about 8 years. And we could ask him a little bit about himself and what he does here to help veterans in the community as well. So, Caleb, my friend, have you on board? Nice to.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself, man.
So I'm originally born and raised in Opelousas. That was my hometown. That was my stomping ground. And then whenever I got old enough, I wanted to do something with my life, and I knew that wasn't going to happen in the city of Opelousas. So I joined the service.
Okay.
I went active duty. I was active duty Army. Really, really enjoyed my time there. And the 5 years that I was active duty, it's hard to have a family.
Yes, it is.
Out of the 5 years that I was active, I was gone for more than 4, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Between deployments and everything else, and having my wife and one son, it was very difficult. So we exited term of service, got out, went right into the Guard, and quickly realized that the National Guard wasn't for me either. That I wanted to go back into active duty.
Okay.
I had difficulty adapting back to civilian life.
Well, you and a lot of other veterans that I know of.
I didn't know who I was when I wasn't in uniform.
Okay.
So my identity was wrapped up in what I did and the image that I portrayed. So who was Caleb Morse as opposed to who was Sergeant Morse?
Okay.
It took me about 2 years to try to get back in, because at the time it was right after the war kind of tapered off and everything else, so they weren't taking active duty soldiers.
War.
This is OIF.
Okay.
So this is Iraq. I got a ton of time in Iraq. So I ended up going back overseas as a private contractor.
Okay.
So managed to get separated from the National Guard so that I could go into the private contracting business. Did that for about 4 years. Came back, joined the National Guard again when I was right here at 256 Brigade. enjoyed my time there, and still didn't really understand who I was and what I was trying to do. Worked for a local gun shop that had been in business for a long time, ran many locations for them. They had a few locations across the state of Louisiana, Mississippi, and they touched a few other states. And the whole reason I got back there was to buy them out. That was my goal. And it didn't happen.
Okay.
And I fell flat on my face trying to buy them out, and really just did everything wrong. And one night, I was drinking too much whiskey, and I was in my feelings, and I was breaking down, and I'm talking to my wife, and she said, look, if we fail and we lose everything, are we still married? I said, God, I hope so. And
Well, it does put pressure on a family.
it really does. And she said, look, she goes, I don't care about everything else. We'll figure it out. She goes, as long as you love me and I love you, we'll be okay. So the next day, I gave a 6-month notice to my employer, having no direction of what I was going to do. Met a friend of mine, Dave, who owns All Wood Furniture, through a Bible study, and Dave pushed me to open my own business. I had no money to open my own business. I had direction, but no means. And through prayer and God's grace, we were able to start the Rustic Renegade. And from the moment we opened, we wanted to show the grown boys of Acadiana what grown men look like.
Okay.
There's far too many of us here in South Louisiana who think that the best thing you can do with your life is go out and gallivant and drink.
Yes, yes.
And there's much more to it than that.
Yes, especially here in Acadiana and Louisiana.
Oh, I mean, we drink and eat for everything, right? So it was what else can we do? If we really are the sportsman's paradise, let's instill that. And then from the moment we opened, we began impacting local veterans, their lives, helping give them direction, openly talking about my struggle, openly talking about what it meant to transition from active duty to guard to civilian life, the struggles I had emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, doing that entire process. And then it kind of built into a friend of mine one day showed up, and we were stationed together in Colorado, and he shows up down here, and he's like, hey, you just came, started hanging out, and I'm like, man, you don't live in Louisiana, you're not a Louisiana guy. And we continue the conversation. A few months go by, and he shows up one morning and says, hey, here's all my guns, I don't want them. I'm like, what do you mean you don't want them? You're a shooter. You and I, we shoot, we enjoy life, and we go out and we target practice, everything else. He goes, no, I don't want them. And it clicked. I said, well, everything the Army's taught me about suicide training, everything else, giving away your possessions, blah, 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 blah. All these boxes are getting checked in my head.
Yes.
And I said, let's talk. I'm gonna grab coffee, I'll be right back. And when I walked back with 2 coffee cups, he was gone. All his firearms were here, and he left. And I said, well, I've got to do something with the guns now. So I did what I legally had to do as far as an FFL goes, and held them. I didn't know what to do with them, but I didn't want to get rid of them, because I felt like if I got rid of his firearms, I was admitting his defeat.
Okay.
And I don't know how, but other people started finding out that, hey, if you're in a bad spot, you can bring your firearms to Caleb at the Rustic Renegade, and he'll help you. And a few years go by, and I'm continuing to do this. More veterans are bringing me their guns, and I'm holding their firearms and trying to give them direction and talking to them about, hey, let's go to the VA. They have a great psychological team there. They're not going to do all this stuff that we think they're going to do. And if you don't want to go to the VA, I happen to know some really good psychologists that will comp their time just to help you.
Yes.
And then through that, we know people like at the HERO program and a few other places where they do drug and alcohol remediation and rehabilitation, because a lot of that tends to be tied in.
Okay.
And then I started getting phone calls from the VA.
You start getting calls from the VA.
Yep, from a woman at the VA and a researcher at the VA, and they said, hey, look, we're trying to do this program where we want federal firearms licensees, FFLs, dealers like yourself, to maybe hold firearms to help vets out. And I was like, yeah, I'm already doing it. And they said, what? I said, oh, I'm already doing that. I've already got something that we're doing here. My lawyer thinks I'm crazy. There's no way the VA's lawyers have looked at this.
Right.
There's too much risk, but I'm doing that. They said, well, would you mind if we call you again? Sure. So a little time goes by, and I get another phone call, and they said, look, we want to pilot a program. We want you to be part of it. And now here we are, we'll call it 4 years later. The program's called the Armory Project. We're a not-for-profit that is affiliated with the VA. So if a veteran is going through a time of need and they're thinking of hurting themselves, hurting someone else, or maybe they just need a gap, some distance between themselves and their firearms, we provide that. So we store firearms for veterans that are going through a rough spot. And it's not just vets. That's what the program is designed for. We've done it for spouses that are being abused. We've done it for people that are going through addiction. We've done it for, well, hey, you know, my son just got back and we don't want them in the house either for whatever reasons, or my daughter. We just want to help people. And now we have, I think in the state of Louisiana, we have 14 different dealers such as myself that are in the program. Not all of them hold firearms. Some are there just for marketing, just to help get the word out. And then we're involved in multiple states. We've actually actually had legislation passed here in the state of Louisiana to where if a dealer wants to hold a firearm for somebody, we're absolved of any implied or explicit liability because we're trying to help another person. South Dakota has copied us. Florida is looking at doing some stuff with us. Texas, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas.
Fantastic, man.
It has been a wild ride. And what's amazing about it is there are other programs that exist. There's one called Hold Your Guns and a few other things. And these people, not to talk bad about anyone's program, but a lot of them I find, it's just lip service.
Yeah, well, I've run across a lot of that myself.
Yep, they want to say, hey, yeah, sure, I'll help. Oh, it's going to cost me time and effort and money? No, I'm not interested.
Right.
And what we do has a dollar amount. It costs us money.
Yeah, right.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
If we can save one veteran, it's worth it, because that veteran could have been me, could have been you, could be one of my best friends, one of my brothers or sisters in arms. They're worth it. They have value. And it's reminding each other that just because it costs you money doesn't mean it's bad. The program that we have, we've stored over 1,000 firearms here at the Rustic.
1,000 firearms.
We've had multiple people come in that it never dawned on me. So I think it was the Washington Post did a study on us. We've had ABC News, I think, or CBS News. They've come here and interviewed us and done some stuff with us. And two of the guys stood there and they said, look, if it wasn't for Caleb and the Rustic Renegade, I wouldn't be here.
I can understand that.
And to be able to sit here and tell you that it's worked is amazing.
Well, it would seem as if that you're about the only one in this area here. You say you got 14, but what does your area cover?
So we cover
really anybody will bring your gun.
Yeah, we pretty much cover Acadiana.
Yeah.
There's another shop that's in Port Barry. We have one in Baton Rouge, and there's a few others scattered throughout. Like we have one in Baton Rouge, two in Baton Rouge, North Louisiana. Alexandria, we don't really have many right now. Fort Polk, the Fort Polk PX is on board with our program.
I'll be darned.
So it's been a blessing to be able to do it. Now, not all of them has held as many firearms as we have.
Yes.
I'm very outspoken about what we do, and I try to get the word out and push what we do.
Right.
And not everyone is comfortable having those conversations. It's hard to sit down and talk to somebody and have them tell you, look, today is a bad day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow. And it's really hard to sit down and look at somebody in the eye and be honest with them and tell them, look, if you can give me 5 more minutes, I'll get you 5 more days. If I get 5 more days, I'll get you 5 more months.
Right.
And it grows. It never gets easier. It never gets easier.
Well, I'll tell you what, because right now, I think we're averaging like about 30 veterans a day or a month.
So we had 22 a day. 22 a day was the average. It dropped a little bit to about 17.5 veterans a day. Now that's a national average.
Right.
The God's honest truth is the state of Louisiana, our veteran suicide rate is the highest in the nation.
Well, when I was talking with an executive in the VA system here at Lafayette, in the Louisiana system, when I first started my program, they had like about 360,000 veterans living in Louisiana. And just last year, I talked with him, I raised that question up. I said, as far as I know, how many veterans do we have? 260,000. I said, what happened? Within the 8 years, you mean tell me we lost that much? 100,000 moving and also suicide? That shocked me.
Our retention rate, when we look at retention, the state of Louisiana, I'm going to make this number up, okay? But let's say we have about 50,000 veterans a year that ETS, either from active duty or National Guard service. 50,000, we use that number. The vast majority of our National Guard service members stay here in Louisiana, about 80%. Active duty, those that ETS out of Fort Polk, 10% stay.
10% stay out of Fort Polk.
The rest want to leave. They want to get out of the state of Louisiana because when you look at us, if you don't hunt or fish, or if you do hunt and fish, you know, which is what we're known for here, we're still restrictive, and there are so many things that, even though you have that much that you enjoy, so many hobbies, our economy doesn't want to keep vets. It's hard for a veteran to go out and open a business.
Yes, it is.
I mean, to go out and open this, it wasn't easy. And then as you start going through and getting things done, you realize, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And the military doesn't do a lick to help train you for that.
No. Well, I do know one thing. I went to a transitional training out of Fort Polk to give a 2-day seminar. They presented a stack of information this high in 2 days. And I'm saying to myself, there's no way in the world anybody could remember all this stuff.
No.
And then I could read all that stuff. And then one of the guys contacted me when I was working in Opelousas as a vet rep. He said, Greg, I didn't even know you guys existed. Now, we got one in every parish, but yet they didn't even inform veterans that's leaving Fort Polk what services they have to offer throughout the whole state. And that shocked me. I just sat there, I couldn't understand it. And sure enough, the guy went to a for-profit lawyer to get his benefits. And he took 30, I think
probably 33%.
Yeah, of his income. I'm saying, if you'd have known about us, free, you'd have got the whole thing, you know? So I understand. That's one of the reasons why I got involved with Veterans Corner, to provide information, because there's a lot of information out there, and it's changing daily with the VA, because you don't know, it says this date, but another date, somebody's changing it. And to be honest with you, ever since those 40 veterans died out of Phoenix, Arizona, just waiting for an appointment, VA started changing. Now, VA is changing.
It's a slow machine.
It's like a darn caterpillar or a molasses, it's just moving. Well, why do we have to go through all that? You know, but you run across them, sure, coming in here all the you run across them.
We see so many vets, and I have representatives from the state level down to our local VSOs and all that who come in the shop. And what we try to do is we try to garner more information from them to give it back out.
Right.
I do get emails from the VA to have a lot of these different topics. Like, one of the things that the VA just did that I think is phenomenal is, did you know that if you get diagnosed with Parkinson's, you are no longer legally able to be your own fiduciary according to the VA?
Really?
It means you cannot be in control of your finances.
For Parkinson's?
For Parkinson's, or even early stage. So what the VA had been doing for years, is if you can't be your fiduciary, they give your information to the FBI and say you can't own a gun anymore.
Oh my goodness.
So you would get stripped of your Second Amendment right. If you owned a collection, the VA would send the police to go seize those firearms. So then you lose out on the collection you had, you lose out on the hobby you have. If you were a police officer, you lose your job.
I'll be darned.
So this month, February of this month, the VA said, oh, we were doing something wrong. We're going to change that. And they said, we're going to fix it. And they came out and said that they will not strip someone's rights away anymore. And now they're going to go back and try to fix it retroactively. Because before, to take someone's rights, it's nothing. It's a mark with an ink pen.
Yeah.
To get them back is judicial. You have to take the VA to court. How many veterans can afford that? How many veterans are going to fight? Most vets are going to say, I'll buy a gun illegally.
Well, the thing is, for me, I found out that really the VA, they're autonomous. They just do anything they want. Congress can make them do something, but Congress won't. And watching the VA, especially of my era, my veterans of my era, Vietnam era, we were treated like stepchildren. And I mean, it took 40 years before the VA let me into the health system.
Well,
but I can't try. I kept trying, and finally, my wife said, "Try one more time." I was okay. I'll try it because of her, and they accepted me. 40 years it took that to do that, you know.
We had a veteran here the other day. He's a Vietnam vet, and he's 10% disabled. Okay. He's got tinnitus.
Okay.
Well, guess what? He also has Agent Orange. He has cancer. He has all these other problems, and he didn't realize that if he would just talk to the VA, that some of this would get moving. The problem we have, and I'm going to say we as men, as male veterans, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, well,
you know, my grandfather was a World War II veteran, hard charger, and when we had discussions about growing old, he's like, "Look, you're hurt. That's just what it is."
you suck it up.
when I started going to the VA more and using them as my primary care provider and everything else, and looking at my medical file, when I left active duty, look, I was in I'm gonna say great shape. My wife probably would agree with that. I got bigger, stronger, faster all the time. But when I first left active duty, my medical records were 2 inches thick. Well, now they're 6 inches thick because that 2 inches of damage, we'll just use 2 inches of damage, has compounded over the years. And as I'm getting older, the body's breaking down.
Right.
So is it going to help me to go tell the VA, look, it hurts when I get up in the morning? Will it help me today? No. Will it help me in 5 years? Yeah. And it's the same thing. And it's a problem that I find most male veterans don't want to do is we're not complaining, but we can voice our displeasure.
It's a man thing in us, driven into us by our previous generation of men. Men are men.
Yeah.
We don't cry. Well, guess what? I cry sometimes.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
You know, but I understand what you're talking about. A gentleman came to me just recently and said, Greg, I'm a Vietnam vet, and my veteran friends have been telling me file a claim. And they don't understand why he didn't file a claim. Well, every time he went, he was denied. So he just gave up, okay? And the last 2 times he went, he even talked with someone who's one of the counselors. And through talking with him, the counselor said, well, you don't qualify. And I'm saying to myself, that don't make any sense. I mean, the man is broken. He went in healthy, came out broken, in Vietnam, and you're telling me he doesn't qualify? You know? So I understand what you're talking about. I run across a lot of people like this.
And even if you don't want to file a claim, voice the pain. Let them know what's going on. Because, I mean, if a mechanic, if the engine sounds great all the time, he's got nothing to do. When the engine makes a noise, he has to listen to it.
Yeah.
And that's the way our doctors do it. If we don't voice it, if we don't tell our doctor, your primary care physician, if you don't tell your spouse, all you're doing is you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
And that was the difficulty that I had when I first left active duty is I was lying to myself. Because I was like, look, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll work harder, I'll do more.
Right.
So when I left active duty, I worked offshore 14 and 14, because when I was getting out in Fort Carson, Schlumberger and Halliburton came up there.
Okay.
They were hiring people out of Colorado
right.
to work in Louisiana.
Okay.
So that's how I came back. And came back down here, and I thought, when I'm home, I was idle. So what did I do? I got another full-time job. So then I worked 14 and 14 full-time, offshore, 14 and 14 while I was home, and I joined the Guard. So
you were busy.
I had 1 weekend off a month. And I thought, I can do this forever. And then I found out what burnout was. And then I started having my own health problems. Then I got diagnosed with COPD. And then I found out what depression felt like.
Good.
And all of a sudden, everything, like the glass house that I had built around me crumbled down. And I had to take a long, hard look at myself and realize I'm not Superman, that I need help. And I needed help from my wife, who wanted to help me, but I just didn't know how to communicate that.
Right.
I didn't know how to look at my wife and tell her, I'm broken. I needed help from my friends who were around me. And look, vets, we're hard on one another.
Yeah.
But I needed my brothers and sisters in arms around me to say, hey, stop being dumb.
Yeah.
And I needed that honesty. I didn't get it right away.
Well, the thing is with veterans, what I found, you come back home, you know, a veteran will open up to another veteran. Okay, that's it. But the families don't understand that. And I've had family members tell me, can you talk to my son or my daughter? Because they don't tell us nothing. They're a different person altogether. And I said, okay, I'll talk with them. I can't guarantee you in a half an hour, I'm not going to change nothing, but I'm going to do my best. And when they walk in my door, we sit down, and they just open up, okay? Am I going to go tell the parents what they just told me? There ain't no way in the world.
No.
What stays in this room stays here, you know? And by saying that, they feel very comfortable and really express themselves to a point where it's like they need like a safety valve need to pop off.
That's exactly what it is, because we internalize so much, and all that pressure builds up, and before you realize it, depression, anxiety, all these things come out of nowhere. And to learn how to communicate and communicate clearly was very, very important to me. Because when I thought I was communicating properly to my wife about how I felt, I wasn't. So I had to change the way I spoke, because I didn't speak wife very well. My wife communicates very well. She spoke husband very well. And she did a great job of drawing that out of me, but I didn't communicate like I should have. And that's the problem that I think that doesn't get addressed enough is we're not alone.
Well, the thing is, I also found out too that, like, take a problem, the vet problem, and the wife. Here's the problem. Your wife sees it as a feather coming down. You're a 1 pound anvil, boom!
Yeah.
There's no connection there. And try to break that down, it takes time. But a lot of times, though, it is the spouse that's willing to be there by your side through thick and thin will really help you.
And my wife has been a massive help to everything I've gone through.
Well, I tell you what, this interview is coming to a close. I hate to have this stop, but we got about 1 minute left. Can you just maybe summarize a little bit of things that you may want to read?
So if you're interested in the Army Project, you can go to thearmyproject.org, or you can come to us, the Rustic Renegade, 2842 Northeast Evangeline Thruway. Visit us online at therusticrenegade.com, and we will give you distance and direction that will save your life.
Well, that's what it takes. And all I can say, my friend, thank you very much for coming on board.
It's a pleasure.
And we'll get together again in the future. And from here on, and all I can say, Louisiana, Acadiana, take care, be safe, and God bless the United States. It's my honor to present to Kenshin Funeral Home, in recognition of your outstanding support and commitment to Acadian and Louisiana veterans. We salute you. By sponsoring the Veterans Corner TV initiative, Kenshin is making a difference in the lives of our veterans and their families. On behalf of Veterans Corner Incorporated, we thank you. September 23rd, 2025, founder Greg Gagne.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Our men and women have served our nation with honor. Now it's our turn to serve them. Veterans Corner is building programs that restore dignity, rebuild trust, and create lasting opportunities. With transparency and accountability at the heart of everything we do, we are here to make a difference. Together, we honor their sacrifice. Together, we build their future. Veterans Corner, serving those who served us.